hit record and then we'll get started. I know there's a few more people that are going to jump on, but we'll just go ahead and get started because I got a lot to talk about and I want to cut off before the end. So thanks for joining. We have a few new faces, and that's super exciting. So I'm glad that you guys are here and that you made the time to jump on and listen. So a couple things I wanted to just kind of talk about is Hammer and Chisel came out today. And if you're a newer coach, you maybe have never heard those words before. But it is a new program that Beachbody just launched today. And so it is a combination of Autumn from the 21-Day Fix, her and then another trainer came together to make a program called Hammer and Chisel. So it's similar to the 21-Day Fix, but yet it's super different. So I'm super excited to start that, and I got mine ordered earlier today. Did anybody else order theirs or are getting it? Are getting it? Yes.
Hopefully. I haven't yet.
Not yet? Okay. So kind of my game plan and what I'm working on is that I know December 7th, so Monday, our next group starts, and some people may be doing Hammer and Chisel, but me personally, I will be finishing Insanity Max 30, so I am not going to start next week. And then actually the week of the 14th, so then the next week, I'm going to do a week of just kind of prepping myself for Hammer and Chisel because I will have gone 8 weeks without lifting any weights. And to go right from doing all cardio strength based to lifting heavy weights, I think I would kill myself. So I'm going to do a week of like prep in between. And I was kind of talking to Megan about it a little bit today. So I will post that in our group if you kind of want to see my hybrid, what I'm going to plan on doing to kind of get ready for Hammer and Chisel. And then the 21st, that's when I plan on starting it all out, following the program in 60 days, what it says. So that's kind of my thoughts, what I'm planning. If you want to do that with me, you certainly can, but it's totally up to you how you want to go about it. And then I know January 4th is when we will do an exclusive Hammer and Chisel group, and we'll probably still have a separate group too for people that wanted the 21-Day Fix and those kind of things, but I think we'll have a separate group that'll just be for Hammer and Chisel, and a lot of people I think are going to hit hard on the 4th and we go from there. So I know I'm going to do a lot more promoting at the end of December for Hammer and Chisel because it's kind of hard to do it now when I really didn't. I mean, I knew what the program's about, but I've never done it, so I couldn't really explain it well. So, but yeah, that's kind of my plan for Hammer and Chisel is I just need a week in between to go from cardio strength-based jumping around and doing push-ups to lifting heavy weights and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my plan. I'll share it in the group if you want to do that with me. You're more than welcome to. If you want to do your own thing, that's totally fine too. So any questions on that, on Hammer and Chisel? I ordered it. I just put my mother-in-law's name in, but I put my address, my work email, and then my credit card and bought a challenge pack with her. So that way I got 2 Success Club points and I got another performance line. So I just did that. I just signed her up as a customer. And then that way I don't have to cancel her account if she was a coach or those kind of things. But you can just order the base kit and you'll get your 25% off and all that kind of stuff. So I think it ends up being like $70 if you just get the program. But then if you order as a challenge pack, it's $160 right now. So however you kind of want to look at it, it's kind of up to you. And that kind of thing. So I don't think they'll sell out of it, but I just wanted to order it right away because shipping has been crazy slow and outrageous. So that was why I wanted to get that right away. So, all right. So now onto the meat of what I want to talk about is I know some of you are just getting started and this is your second and a half day of coach training. And I know for me, my coaches that are in that group, they've been very active and very involved, and that's what you need. The last training that we had, I had a couple coaches in there and they didn't participate. They didn't do the things that they were supposed to, and they're still not coaching right now. They just kind of were like, oh, this isn't for me. So the more involved that you are in that coach training, the more success you're going to have. Just kind of like the challenge groups. If you sit on the wall in a challenge group, you know, you're there, you're seeing things, but if you're actively posting and being engaged and those kind of things, you tend to see your success rise. And it's the same kind of thing in the coaching groups and participating and going from there. So a couple of the things that we've talked about so far, and I just kind of wanted to reiterate and maybe explain them a little bit more in depth, is when we talk about those vital behaviors. So the things that you have to do every day in order to succeed. You know, when you think about the challenge group, what do you need to do to succeed in the challenge group? Well, you need to work out, you need to drink your shake, you need to drink your water, and you need to follow your meal plan. And that's how you're going to succeed with the 21-day fix and in the challenge group. Coaching, it's your vital behaviors. It's the things that you have to do every day in order to grow and succeed. And at first, they're scary. And at first, they're hard. And you have no idea what to do. And I've been there. Megan's been there. Julie's been there. It gets better. I promise, it does. Do I, you know, I'm 4 months in. Do I still hate messaging? Yes. I would rather do burpee lunges from Insanity than message people. Honestly, I hate it. I do. But I know that in order to get challengers, I have to do that. You know, yes, a few of you on this call, you came to me, but most of you, I had to reach out to you 2 or 3 times and say, hey, you know, what about this, you know, and talk to you about it. And I hate doing it. I hate even more messaging people that I actually really know. It's out of my comfort zone. But when those things happen, that's when you grow and you change and you change a life and you go from there. So with sending invites, and I will post some samples in here. You can message me for some samples. I was just working up one today where I'm kind of tying it into hey, it's December. Do you want to look good for your Christmas picture? Do you want to start and set a goal before January 1st rolls around? So sending those invites, and it can be small. It can be 2 to 3 invites a day. You know, what I recommend doing is going through your Facebook list and making a list of all the people that you think might be interested. And I've done this 3 times already, and it's been in 4 months. Because the first time I went through and I was like, oh, this person probably would. You know, I picked maybe 10 people. I'm like, these people would definitely probably be interested. The second time I went through, I wrote down a few more people. And then the third time I wrote down anybody and everybody that I thought, even if I thought, nope, they probably won't, I still wrote them down and I still messaged them. Because, you know, it takes that how many no's in order to get a yes. I think I posted this in the group last night. I counted it up on just my seeds, so just my standard invites. I sent out 97 last month. And I think, I know that I had less than 5 people actually join me from that. So that's over 90 no's that I got last month. Which when I was just starting and somebody was like, you need to go for 100 no's this month. I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't even think I have 100 people that honestly I would ever message. But you do. You get to that point because you realize, you know what? Hey, if you unfriend me because you don't want, you're offended because I asked you to join my challenge group, then I don't want you in my life or on my Facebook life anyways. But, you know, so it takes all those no's, and guess what? In January, when those people want to set that resolution and they want to make a difference, I guarantee you, hopefully, I'm one of the people that pops up in their head and says, oh, hey, you know what? She asked me about a challenge group. I see all of her pictures, all of her posts on Facebook. You know what? I'm going to message her and see what this challenge group is about. So at first when I got a no, it was like devastating. It was like the world was coming to an end. You know, this person, they hate me, they say no, they didn't respond to me, all this stuff. But now all of a sudden when that happens, I'm like, okay, whatever. If you didn't, you know, if you're not ready right now, that's okay. When you get a rejection, when you get a no, it's not about you. They're just not ready. Like Abby, I'm just gonna use you as an example. I think one of the first times I reached out to you, I'm pretty sure you were like, nope, can't do it. No, you know, and I think, did I come to you like 2 or 3 more times? I was like, hey, I just kept plugging away at her, and all of a sudden, like, the light just flipped, and she was like, yes, awesome, and here she is, like, on a call. She's going to coach. She's going to do awesome, all these things. So it's one of those, you know, it's like, and if my coach had never reached out to me and messaged me, I know I wouldn't be here because I've known her for years, but I would never have reached out to her and said, hey, you know what, I want to join your group. So I always think of it that way too. You know, if she wouldn't have reached out to me, you know, I wouldn't be here. And some of you, if you hadn't seen my posts, you know, you wouldn't be here and those kind of things. So inviting, it's hard, it's scary, but it's just like, you know, when you go up in weights on upper body, the more you use those muscles, the better you get and the easier that it gets. Adding new friends. So Facebook makes it really easy because you know, you add one person, then underneath of it, 5 more people pop up that you should know. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, you know, adding all these people. And I started doing it. And then all of a sudden, like, I would say to Kevin, I'm like, you know what's weird is that I honestly do not know these people at all, but they're accepting my friend request. Like, before I started doing this, if somebody sent me a request and I didn't know them, I wouldn't accept it. These people, they have no idea who I am, but they accept my request. Almost all of them, you know. And so I'm like, yeah, are these people weird, or am I weird, or, you know, what's going on? But, and Hillary posted in the coaching group kind of a message that she sends to them, and I send that same one too. So if I add a random person, like 2 days later, I'll message them and I'll say, hey, I just want to introduce myself. I'm not sure if we actually know each other, but we have, you know, like 20 mutual friends in common. You must be from the Spencer area. I grew up there. My parents still live there. And then, you know, if they have kids in the picture, I'll be like, your kids are adorable. How old are they? You know, and just kind of go that way. Some of them just respond, yep, I'm still in Spencer, and then that's that. And I message back, oh, awesome, cool. And then that's it. We don't ever talk again. And in probably 2 months, I'm going to come back around and invite them to a challenge group, you know, and I add them to a list, and I try and go through and like their posts and try and be in contact with them and those kind of things. And some people I actually have conversations with back and forth. You know, we talk about if they have kids, and we go back and forth and we talk about it. You know, if they're from Spencer and they're like, oh, I know your dad. Oh, imagine that. And so then we talk about that or whatever. So, you know, and some of them it's weird, it's random, but I'm never going to see them. Although sometimes when I'm out and about, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I see people that I know that I've randomly added and those kind of things. But I mean, that's another thing. It does get easier. And I figure if they're going to add me back, then they obviously didn't think I was that much of a weirdo and those kind of things. So, and then I always send them a message too. Posting about challenge groups and posting about being a coach. This was one of the mistakes that I made early on, is when I first started, like every post I made at the bottom, I was like, join my challenge group, it starts Monday. And then all of a sudden, like, I learned, I'm like, well, that's stupid, because that's like super salesy, like, hey, join my group, join my group. So now I try to just like, so we have a group starting Monday. So I will post about the challenge group tomorrow. I'll invite to tomorrow, and then I'll invite Sunday night. And so I'll do the same thing with coaching. If we have a coaching thing coming up, I'll post about it 2 times, you know, and invite them to the sneak peek or invite. And it's just kind of a way, and it's more about telling a story, you know, talking about your story, your success. You know, what's changed for you? What has healthy eating done for you? What have you gained in your first 8 weeks of doing the 21-day fix or whatever? So rather than posting up a picture of the 21-day fix and saying, I have my next challenge group starting on Monday, tell a story. You know, you have to somehow draw these people into you and make them want to join you. And so it has to be, and it'll come to you, you know, when you have something to talk about, and you have, and pictures are so important. And I know some of you may not be ready to do your full out first and last transformation picture, but a side-by-side picture of, you know, when you started to now, or your first sweaty selfie to now, those show a huge difference. And people, I think, really respond to those pictures. And they're hard, you know, the posts, those, they're important to do. You know, it's just like, that's you being consistent is showing that you are continuing and that you're growing. And that's how people connect and relate to you, and they see that you're there and you're the real deal and you're working out every day and you are being positive and being encouraging. And, you know, actually in the past, one of our other coaches has made a posting calendar, and she didn't make one last month, and I haven't seen one for this month. So I was going to message her today, and I'm like, you know what? Nope. I'm going to make a posting calendar, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So that's on my list to do tomorrow, is kind of make a calendar that you can follow and use to kind of help give you ideas of what to post. Because I know when I started, it was like, oh, here's a fitness quote. Oh, here's my salad. Here's my, I think I worked out today. Here's this. Here's my water. I was super random and all over the place. And I found this calendar and it saved my life. I mean, it helps space things out and show, like, here, today talk about your goals. Talk about never quitting. Talk about being why this matters to you, and all these different posts. So I'm going to work on that and share that with you, because I know for me that was really helpful and beneficial, and especially when you're just starting out and going from there. Being proof of the product. So you do it in the challenge groups, right? You post that you worked out. You post your shake. You have a recipe. You post it. It's basically the same thing. You're just posting it out in the public. And, you know, I was really worried about that at first too, because when my coach started, my husband and I were both like, oh my God, she's posting all the time. And it like, yeah. And we made fun of her, and I felt bad. Now I feel bad. I mean, and then I didn't, because I'm like, oh my gosh, again, you know, here we go. And now that's me. Now I'm that person. But I've had so many people, and I know people probably think that about me. They probably laugh at me. They probably think whatever of me. But when I get a message, like I got a message today, and somebody says, how do you do what you do? They're like, you have so much motivation. You have so much drive. How do you do it? And I was like, I don't know. I guess I love it. I'm passionate about it. I just do it. You know, so you get messages like that, and it makes it worth it. You know, there's going to be negative things, but you just, in the personal development and reading those books that kind of help build that up, it just comes. And it's ripping off the Band-Aid, and it's saying, hey, I'm going to put this out there in a world full of such negative things. I'm going to be that positive light that somebody scrolls through and sees something positive and makes their day or makes them feel better, those kind of things. So, but just, you know, work out and post about it. You know, post your sweaty selfie, or, you know, hey, I did this today, and I drank this, or I ate this, or, you know, some people aren't going to enjoy it, and they may unfriend you. They may stop following you and those kind of things, and that's okay. You know, they're not the type of people that you want around. But what my goal is every time I post is I hope that one person sees it and makes a change, or it impacts them, or it affects them in a good way. And so that's kind of what I think about every time I make a post, is I hope that this influences one person. It makes one person make a healthier decision. It makes one person feel better, those kind of things. With personal development, this was one too that when I started, my coach gave me a book, and I didn't open it for a while. Like, it took me 2 months to finally get through that book. And it wasn't until I actually started reading it that I learned a lot. And what I did was I took 10 minutes before I sent out my messages. And I took 10 minutes, and I sat there and I read it, and then I sent my messages. And it just made me feel better. It made me feel positive. It made me feel encouraged and motivated to do this, to send messages, to do my workout, to you know, try and come up with something positive to put out there on Facebook, and something positive to do for me and my family. And so there's a ton of books out there, and it doesn't have to be just business related. It can be, you know, what's one area that you struggle with? Is it confidence? Is it procrastination? Like, what's something that you struggle with? You can find a book on that to help you gain that confidence and gain that momentum and fix those things that you struggle with, because we all have those things that we struggle with. Mine is probably procrastination. I mean, one of the big things is that I procrastinate, and then all of a sudden it's like I just need to do the things I need to do and get it done. And so reading that personal development, or listening to it, or finding some way to get that in, is really going to make a difference, and just kind of build you from the inside and help kind of shine through your posts and your through your messaging and all those kind of things as well too. So like I said, make a list. This is what I want you to do if you haven't done it yet, sometime tonight or tomorrow, because those of you that are in the new coach training, tomorrow your assignment is going to be to make your, I call it your coming out post, and I know that sounds really bad, but like, it's kind of what you're doing, right? You're coming out as a Beachbody coach. So tomorrow, just a heads up, that is going to be your assignment, is to make that post, make that announcement. And I know when I made mine, I had like a bunch of people messaging me, what are you doing? I want to be a part of this. Teach me, show me how to do this. And that may happen to you, that you post that, you And I definitely recommend including a picture, and then it's telling your story. You know, hey, I started this journey of the 21-day fix in Beachbody 6 weeks ago. Here's what I've accomplished so far. I've decided to pay it forward and help other people. If you want to hear more about this, or you want to join my next group, you know, all this kind of thing, but telling your story about what you've gained, what you've learned, and you're going to have people that are messaging you, hey, yeah, tell me about this, what's going on, you know, and so you start that conversation, you message them back and forth. But after that, you're going to have to eventually reach out to people. And so if you have that list ready to go, then you can just cross it off. Hey, I'm messaging these 3 people today, and you know what? And they may respond, they may not, they may message back something good, something bad, you know, whatever it might be. But you have that list going. And so even if you have been coaching and you haven't done this yet, that's what I want you to work on tonight or tomorrow, is going through and making your list of people that you can contact and that you can invite. Because like I said, I've told some of you before, I have like 10 lists going, and my organization is a hot mess. But I understand it, so you got to figure out your way of managing those people and how you contact them and how you get a hold of them and those kind of things. So, all right, time out. Any questions on the vital behaviors, those things that you need to do every day in order to succeed?
You ask, or like send messages to like 2 or 3 people a day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Got it.
So I have my list of, and actually I have it filled out through December, so I know who I'm going to message on what day. So like today I had 3 people written down. I'm like, yep, these are the people I'm going to message. I just sit down and I send them a similar message, and I'll share that in the group too, what I've been using in December, and you can feel free to use it too. That is just kind of like a standard invite. And if it's somebody that I haven't talked to in a while, you know, sometimes it depends. Like if it's somebody that I should kind of talk to a little bit beforehand, I will do that. But sometimes I'll just send out a cold, they call it a cold message, where it's just like, hey, I know this is random, but I saw you, I was thinking about you. Would you have any interest in joining this group? So it kind of goes both ways, but when you're just starting out, usually you're reaching out to those people that you know really well, or you're friends with, and those kind of things. So they're not necessarily the people that you have to kind of warm up to and make a conversation with. But yep, I always try to shoot for 2 to 3, if not more, a day. It just kind of depends on who pops in my mind. Good. Any other questions about the things you should do? Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk a little bit more about was your posting, and I kind of got into that a little bit before, and I know for some of you that this is kind of what is scary for you and something that will be a challenge for you, and so you don't have to start out huge. You can start 2 times a day. If you are one that you're worried about it, set your goal to be, I'm going to post 2 times a day. And think about the timing of your posts. So if you notice, I like to post, I try and post at like 7 in the morning. And then since I'm at work, I can't post again technically until like noon, because that's when I'm on my break, right? So I usually post between like 7 and noon. And then I try and go about 3, and then I do something at night as well. Sometimes, so I try to shoot for 5 times a day. It just kind of depends on what is going on, but I built up to that. I did not post 5 times a day for a long time. I was doing 3 times a day for a while, and your posts do not have to be all about Beachbody. Every once in a while, I will throw in a picture of my daughter, because that just kind of, people tend to like pictures of her more than like pictures of me. I don't understand why, but no, I'm kidding. But like, so I try to throw in, you know, stuff like that. Or if you have a pet, or you have something else other than just you that you could post pictures of, and those kind of things, and just kind of to get more traction on your wall and to get people looking. But what I recommend doing is You know, if you're going that 2 to 3 times a day and kind of space it out, and I'll post this calendar, I'll work on that and get it out for you. But one of the things you could post could be your workout. It could be just you afterwards. It could be your weights. You know, if you're not ready to show your face quite yet, it could be your weights sitting there. Whatever it might be, something about your workout. It could be, you could post a quote, you know, something, a positive thing, whatever it might be. I just go to Pinterest and I type, like, let's say today I want to talk about success. So I will go to Pinterest and I'll type in success quotes. Whatever comes up, I pick one, I screenshot it, and then I put it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and then I try and put my own little saying with it or whatever. So that's what that's what you can do for your quote. Share a recipe. So if you've made something really good, share a recipe, share a Shakeology recipe, whatever it might be. I'm finding that more lately, that people are really engaged in when I post about recipes and things. And so something like that, you make something really good for lunch, post it, whatever it could be there. And then when you post, talking about your story, always sharing you, because your story, you're not selling the 21-day fix, you're not selling Shakeology, you're just telling your story. You're just saying, hey, here's what this has done for me. Here's what I've succeeded from this program. Here's what I've gained. You're not trying to say, drink water because it helps your skin glow or whatever. You're not trying to sell something. You're just sharing your story and talking about what you have gained and what you have accomplished and those kind of things. And so, 2 to 3 times a day, think about your timing. So right now you could focus on doing 1 in the morning and 1 at night, or at noon. Noon's easy. You just post your lunch. Whatever it is that you're eating, you post a picture of it. At nighttime, it can be, and the last post of the day, the one that you do at night, that should be your most important post. So like at night, that's when I'll do my challenge group invites. That's when I'll do my transformation pictures, just because I tend to see the most traction right away in the morning and at night. You might be different. You might see a lot more traction in the morning than you do at night. And whatever works best for you, you just have to do it your way. We're down to 10 minutes. There are a few top Beachbody coaches that I will post in the group, that if you want to go find them on Facebook and follow them, that's one thing I really recommend doing, is following those top coaches, seeing what they're posting, watch what they're doing, learn from them, gain some ideas from them, and then go your own way and do your own thing. Some people, some of the other coaches above me on our team, they probably don't agree with some of the ways that I post stuff, but it's what works for me. Is my stuff always super professional looking? No, probably not. But when I have 5 minutes to do something and I don't have enough time to sit and make sure my font is super perfect, all this stuff, just get it out there. Just get your content out there. You've got to find your own way and your own way to do things. But I will post all of their names, some of the ones that I've been following, and some of my favorites in the group, so that you can follow them and just get some ideas and see what the top people in the business are doing and those kind of things. So biggest thing, we talk about this too in the challenge group, and we focus on this. You can't compare yourself to other people, to the other coaches. You can only compare yourself to you and how far you've come. And this is about how much effort and work you want to put in. So, with Success Club last month, you can't compare and say, oh, she got this many and I got this many, and that's just not fair. No, it comes down to you and what you've done. And I struggle with this a lot. This is actually probably one of the biggest things I struggle with, is comparing myself to other coaches within our team, and just that are at the same level as me. And, last month, one of them got higher than I did. And I really struggled with that. I was really upset. I was like, what more could I have done to move on and continue on? But you know what? I did everything I could. And she worked a little bit harder, and she hit it just a little bit sooner. And that's going to happen. And so that's one thing that I have to work on too, is just not comparing myself, my journey. Because just like in the challenge groups, some people are going to lose a lot of weight really quickly, and some of them it's going to take a little bit longer. Each person's different. We all have that. That's your own journey. It's your own way. So last thing I want to talk about was, I posted about doing your goals. And I know some of you newer coaches are like, oh, I don't even know. I don't know what to do. You know, I just started like 2 days ago, and I didn't even think about that. So thanks for pointing that out to me. But I want you, all of you, to shift your focus this month from hitting Success Club to thinking about how many people you can help. And for those of you newer coaches, Success Club is kind of your goal each month. You have Success Club 5 and Success Club 10. And when you sign up a person, and we'll get into this, I don't have a ton of time to explain it totally, but when you sign up a person with the challenge pack, you get 2 points. So when each of you bought the 21-day fix challenge pack, whoever signed you up got 2 points. So your goal each and every month should be to hit Success Club 10. And when you think about it, that's helping 5 people. So rather than this month thinking, I want to get Success Club 5, I want to get Success Club 10, I want you to think about helping 3 to 5 people. So if you are a brand new coach, my goal for you, I honestly think you can hit Success Club 10, but what your goal is to help 3 people. And so, you know, get your list out. You've got 3 people that you need to help and that you need to get signed up. So when you shift your focus from, you know, I got to get Success Club, I got to get this number, and turn it more into how many people can I help? How many lives can I change? Who can I get on this program that would benefit from it? And so thinking of it in terms of that way. So that was what I had for you guys tonight. We got about 5, little less than 6 minutes left if you guys have any questions for me or anybody on the call.
I have a question about the coming out post.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am nervous about everything I do with social media. Can I send that to you and maybe get some feedback on it?
Yep, definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
Not a problem. Yeah, I think for sure, like when Megan and Liz did theirs, I think they sent theirs to me and we kind of talked about it and they were both, yeah. So definitely send it to me and you can email it or whatever works best. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And I noticed that our groups are all female. Do you ever target guys?
I actually just started to. Last month I had a guy posted one of my pictures and stuff, and I hung out with him a couple of times in college, so I didn't really know him very well. But yeah, so he actually is technically on his 2nd round, but I didn't add him to the group because I didn't know if he'd really want to be in the group. But that is, I feel like eventually I'm going to have to start targeting more males. But that's one area that it's kind of hard. And but if you have guys, there are sometimes guy groups. So if you do have a guy challenger that wants to be in a challenge group, let me know. We can try and find him a guys group to get him in. So I haven't necessarily actually sent out a lot of messages towards guys, but yeah, it's something eventually I'll have to start working on that. But good deal. Any other questions?
Okay, with December coming up and Christmas and all,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my no's have been money is such an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to motivate people. Okay, I just spent $50 on groceries this week, for the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys kind of get around the money issue? Because knowing these people that I know, I really don't believe them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to say that, but maybe in a roundabout kind of way. I don't know if it's just an excuse because they just don't really want to commit or if it really is, but
that I know that is hard. And I personally I think it's an excuse because and when I have somebody give that to me, I guess I kind of, and when I get it, it's usually from people that I figure might be struggling with it. I know Megan's had a few instances with that too, of people giving you. Do you have any advice on that, Megan?
I just went back and like went through their posts and stuff, and I actually was kind of like watched to see like what they were doing like during the day, and a lot of them post like going to a football game or something, and I always liked their posts, like that they went to a game and stuff, and then they always would like come back and message me and be like, okay, yeah, maybe I do have, you know, time for this or something. So I feel like they saw that I was like, oh, you have money to go to a football game, but you don't have money to, you know, but then at the same time, it's like you can only want it for them so bad, you know, until they're kind of, I don't know. But then I guess like they followed your posts and stuff, and they'll come back if they really are interested. But
And that's one thing I try to do too. Like if somebody gives me an excuse, I try to make a post about that like a couple days later. So like Christy with the whole grocery thing, like I would take a picture of your groceries and say, hey, $50 for a family my size for the whole week, you know? And so when somebody gives me an excuse, I try and turn it around as a post. And then, but yeah, I like what Megan said too, just go back and like their stuff and not guilt trip them, but make them realize. But awesome. We got about a minute left. Any other questions you're dying to ask? Megan had a good point too today. We were talking, and something just to think about too, that week between Christmas and New Year's, you know, a lot of people have been saying, hey, I want to, you know, in January, I want to start in January. But just make sure that week, you know, you tell them, hey, shipping takes a week to get here. So if you know, if you want to start January 1st or whatever, you got to start, you know, or purchase it a week early or whatever. So just kind of keep that in mind too. But yeah, we'll talk about that when the month goes on. It's only the first of the month, so fine. So, all right, awesome. Well, thank you for jumping on. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have a good rest of the night. We'll talk to you guys later.